Hi guys, welcome back. For those of you who are new, very warm welcome. I'm Yildiz from Yildiz Readings. I'm a psychic medium as well as a twin flame and a twin flame coach. If you need a booking, the link is below. And during any of the live sessions, what you're able to do after each session and during half the time when we're having our chit chat, you're able to ask free questions. So do subscribe, and now and then I do give free readings away as well. So if you have subscribed, thank you. And we will get into it. Now, for the last few days, it's been extremely hard to get to you guys. I've sat down and I've literally jotted down all the signs and synchronicities. I've done my research, I've done my homework, as us twins do. And I'm going to come to you with a read, and it's really interesting, some of the things that have been coming through. Definitely there have been a few songs. And I feel a lot of you guys have gone through, I've just cleansed my cards, so, I'm trying to prepare them. I like to cleanse the cards prior to starting. I want that neutral energy coming through of what the relevant frequency is in the here and now. So, hello, Adelaide. Now, a lot of what has been coming through, one of the songs that came through, and some of you might have been seeing horses as an animal totem, and I've done research on that. One of the songs that was coming through was Florence and the Machine dragging that horse around. And it's almost the frequency of, the pain body experience and the things we drag around, but almost like the frequency in the umbilical cord, because we talk about cord cutting when it comes to the twin flame. When you're cutting the cord, the only real thing you are cutting and you're working on the whole time is detachment of the energy. So the further into the journey you directly get, what you do find is you reach a point where, and I mentioned this to Giggle this morning, is that it's the dire need to legitimately do the healing, because the downloads psychically that you actually get are so profound that you're just needing to have a more grounded way of being through your day-to-day life. So you can be doing washing, and for masculines, you guys have been experiencing the same thing. The further into your journey you get, you do find it almost feels like the thought of that counterpart energy is there so profoundly so that even in your ego, if you're telling yourself, this isn't a spiritual connection, why does this person keep coming up, for me? I mean, my twin directly has seen how often his name comes up, and I hadn't mentioned that to him before. So the bombardment as such does become so profound that it can become quite exhausting. And it's very hard. It's almost like you feel with the signs and synchronicities, hello, England, it can get to a point where you do feel spiritually attacked, because you're trying to proceed forward and you're moving through your spiritual blocks, etc. But at the same time, you're seeing the number synchronicities, the animal totems, can be their name on signs, certain songs that come up. And I have discussed this with my twin, and he said much the same, as that, prior to us having union, definitely he was experiencing the same thing. And it was almost like, yes, songs would come up, yes, signs and things would trigger him. Locations as well would come about. So yes, masculines do go through that frequency as well. I'm going to be tuning into the current energy, but before I do, I want to go over some things that I have seen. And as I mentioned, I was also seeing another song that's been coming up quite a bit. And it's Celine Dion's new song. It's called Flying on My Own. Now, the energy is, we can't come into union completely until we're in union with ourselves. And I feel this is the message really of where a lot of twin flames have got to, is that, you've had that detachment, you've had that time to actually do that work on yourself. And, you'll find songs will have different meanings for you as you transition over. Hi. So as you evolve, you will pick up the frequency of particular songs being quite codependent. And then at other times, the direct meaning of the song can be, one might get triggered, because Flying on My Own, some twins will feel, oh, is that it? We're going to be by ourselves. No. If you can't make peace with the vibration of feeling happy, sometimes it's very hard to have that opening. It's more a liberating song, I'm feeling. So depending on how you're linking in, go listen to the lyrics. I haven't put a link or anything. I'll try. But with that song, now, Celine Dion lost her husband, obviously. So for her, it's quite a beautiful transformation. And I've been seeing a lot of caterpillars. You know, and a lot of the animal totems that I've been seeing are to do with that transformative state. So, you know, you reach the point of being a caterpillar, it goes into a cocoon, hermit mode, it then transforms and it evolves. Very similar to the twin flame path in a sense that, you know, when you guys are in separation, the transformative state you're going through can be very 3D. When you are in the 3D energy, what we don't quite understand is we're always 3D, 5D. When we're in dense reality of 3D, we're doing the work, which is positive, but we need to anchor the energy into the 5D. Now, even with my Reiki incense sticks, which are burning behind me in the cup, oh no, I moved them. Yeah, it was too smoky in there. I moved them out. The one that there were no sticks available was the crown chakra, interestingly enough, but the others were almost doubled up. The heart chakra was doubled up. And the base chakra, and I do feel that's quite relevant, and we'll see with the cards, with the chakra cards, if that comes out. And the Leo energy really was higher heart chakra for the energy coming through. A lot of you might be purging. Hi, Andrew. All of you in New Zealand, America, hello, very warm welcome. I love you all. You will find that you're purging certain things, and it's purging people, places, and things, and it's really a huge subject matter that's coming up at the moment. And look, even for me personally, being in union, when I do listen to other videos, don't think for a second that the energy isn't relevant. So, you know, for those of you who are in communication, it's few and far in between the readers that actually do touch base on that subject matter. The one thing you will realize is the ascension symptoms, the transformative frequency, the things you directly deal with are very relevant both in union and out. So it's still a similar frequency we directly go through, but you reach a certain spiritual point that although the trigger points come up, the way you relate to it, you're visually seeing it. That's the difference. But I have seen, especially with my clientele that are, you know, in communication or reunion, and the others that are in no contact whatsoever are spiritually going through similar transformations. So hopefully that can give you some sense of grounding. And it really makes no difference what stage of the path you're on. I really do wish in hindsight, and again, both Giggle and I have been doing some reflection back over the past, and the one thing we say is we wish we knew now what we knew, you know, we wish we knew back then what we know now. And it can be this healing coming through where you're a little bit angry at yourself, but you can't be because you weren't that person back then. So it's, you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. But at the same time, it's anchoring that energy in where you will actually pick up people's frequency. So you'll know what their intent is before they speak. You'll know their vibration because you're empathically tuned. So particular frequencies you will reject. And it's not that, how do I put it? It's not that you look at them as less. It's just you know the intent and from what kind of instrument they're tuned from and why they're operating in particular ways. So you may not entertain certain individuals for that simplistic reason, is that there's healing directly that needs to be done. A lot of times when you have no communication with your counterpart, it doesn't seem like it, and because you are healing, you're in that pain body experience, our third eye intuition, etc., can come through telling us, is there something we did wrong? Not always and not necessarily. A lot of the reason why it physically is there is because it could be so much worse if you were still with them while they're dealing with their vibration. Although things have happened to you, how do I put it? They know far greater that worse could occur. So they detach to liberate you energetically so you can have your upgrade. Because you do reach a point in your journey, you can't stay at that frequency. And the knowingness with the masculine is very much, they do know this. So the detachment energy is there to assist with you actually moving forward without getting ripped back. Unfortunately, the umbilical cord effect of the spiritual connection, you vibrationally sense that regardless of being with them or not. So it's almost like, you know, when you're with them, and we say this, you know, in the community when we're talking about right time, there's no right time. And I hate to break it to you, it's because you're going to feel that energy whether you're with them or not. So it's managing that and it's owning your power. So the training point of things is what you're going through right now. that's in any given month, okay? Once you reach that point, you can then be back with your twin and you can then visually see the transformation. So a lot of feminines have gone through detachment of their employment, detachment of people, places, and things, breaking codependent patterning, really checking with themselves at a regular basis. And I might have to close that door because the smoke is so heavy. Hello, Jonah. I mean, we want to be cleansed to a point, but we don't need, you know, smoke and mirrors right now. We've moved past that, haven't we, feminines and masculines? And really, that, you can't make this up. The door just opened. I swear at the moment, there's a lot of spooks around. And I feel a lot of you may have been experiencing that, and that'll be the Neptune frequency. Good old Neptune. Come across a lady in a spiritual shop the other day, and she was like, I'm not using amethyst. No, I won't go there. And it's ironic because I did mention last year a lot of people that didn't go through ascension symptoms, the dark night of the soul, etc., would really be going through it this year. And with the totems and the things that I've found, what you'll find is you'll be seeing children going through this energy really heavily at the moment. You'll also be seeing other people who did not experience the vibration last year really in the thick of it. So it's this amp up of people having upgrades energetically. And even if they didn't want to change, and in an ego way we were thinking, oh, they can't change, it's evolving them too. You will also notice people getting very unwell, purging food. Masculines at the moment are going through that as well. And you may have noticed, feminines, when you were going through your ascension symptoms, naturally you reject certain things. It's not only people, places, and things. It's your food groups. Even if you weren't naturally vegan, all of a sudden you may be inclined, a bit like when you're pregnant, you know, you really can't eat particular food groups. You will reject certain foods, and it can be the most ironic things all of a sudden you'll start eating. And probably over maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a lot of energy was coming through where junk food was coming through, but it was more that instant gratification of energy bursts that you were needing to keep your frequency going, because you needed to get into light body frequency with the retrogrades and the eclipses that we had so that you could keep moving your energy forward. Again, masculines at the moment are really rejecting their food groups. So anything that isn't at that higher frequency or going to serve a purpose, they're moving into light body frequency. So, and I have been noticing that with my twin too. And feminines would have noticed all of a sudden the food groups, you know, you go off them, you're rejecting alcohol, you're rejecting caffeine. And it's not to say that you've done all of these things, but there will be aspects of those things at a certain point of your ascension symptoms through your twin flame journey and your awakening that you'll physically go through. That subject matter has come back on the table. Yeah, like the cookies and particular food groups, really craving them. I mean, I had an addiction to chocolate years ago. And I mean, I've been quite a large girl, and I've noticed over the years that working on the spiritual blocks was really why the weight wasn't moving. And I have lost, and I mean, I talk more in layman's terms of kilos because I'm in Perth, WA. So, you know, I don't know the conversion, obviously. America, you guys are really different. But 2 to 3 times I've lost over 40 kilos, and I really had to work very hard for it. But I feel going through the dark night of the soul and really working on those blocks and pushing through them, it really has helped change the metabolism, so to speak. So the spiritual blockages within the chakra, once they're kind of worked on to a degree, you find your metabolism balances out and it naturally drops. Okay, so you know, there is comments where on videos that talk about twin flame union that you gain weight just before. I actually found it was the polar opposite. I found I lost it because I was detaching, and yes, you do gain a bit prior to, and then you have a dissension spiritually, and then once you're detaching and you're really going through that purge stage, that can be masculine or feminine. You know, when you're having weight in certain areas, it's due to spiritual blockages. Now, no, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not talking medical layman's terms. That's something you need to go to a doctor for. But you will notice separately to that, if you're doing the right thing and you're going to the doctor, you'll notice your body naturally will start changing and shrinking. And you'll reject those food groups. Now, the totems, I want to get through briefly into the things I've been seeing. One of the big energies that's been screaming at me, and for the life of me, I don't know why, because I'm very detached from tuning into karmic frequency. Karmic, again, can be a person, place, or thing. It doesn't have to be a feminine, okay, a female. That energy for some reason has really been bouncing up quite a bit lately. Although the frequency is quiet, I'm going to be tuning into that today. I've put a section for the masculine, a section for the feminine, and karmic energy both sides. Now, why? I don't know. I know it's a reason, so we're going to find out through the cards. I'm following my intuition. Again, a lot of the totems that have been coming through are really guiding feminines at the moment. Now, frog totem has been coming through. So those of you who it relates to, frog totem, frogs actually breathe two ways. It's also got the water frequency, which is the intuitive nature, the emotional nature. It's your crown and your third eye. But the water with the intuition, it's looking at things in a different way. And it's also, if they can breathe in two different ways, we can actually react and deal with things in two different ways. So it could be an answer coming to you guys in a message sense. And that can be for masculines or feminines, that the evolution of it is from a tadpole to a frog, and it transforms. So there's a transformative state we're currently going through, but it's reached the point of being a frog. So it's already reached a certain point, okay? With that, it's the mind and the intuition. It's balancing it, but it's moving away from the ego to a point you can actually look at the perspective of a situation and process it and find a harmonic way of dealing with it, a harmonistic way of dealing with it. But there can be something in an intuitive way. You're trying to be quite rational and logical, but again, step away from the ego when you're doing that, because if you're looking at the situation 3D, what your intuition and what your higher consciousness is telling you, I'm feeling, for many of you, is saying, but I'm not feeling that. I'm not buying that frequency. It's not matching the download, you know, because you're sensing something. So you're really guided to trust what you're sensing and feeling. And there's two ways this situation can come about. The other thing that came through was really interesting was elephants and elephant totems. Now, for those of you who have been seeing elephants, it's interesting because it comes through in two messages, and I'm getting particular messages coming through, especially since I'm tuning into karmic frequency here. Now, with the elephant totem, they're very family orientated. Now, again, with the frogs, keep in mind that the nodes are in Cancer and Capricorn at the moment, and that's why it took so bloody long to get to you guys, because I wanted to get all the downloads correctly, and I wanted to tune into them. With elephant totem, now, you know, some of these things you see passing by and you're like, yeah, I've seen quite a bit in that. And because we've been disconnected and 3D, we're not then tuning into the messages that source and universe is giving us. Now, the crown chakra, it's like it's right in front of your eyes, guys, okay? We will talk about the Lionsgate portal too, but we'll get through this. Now, the reason that the chakra stick wasn't there for the crown chakra is because your crown's open, but you're not listening. You're not taking the time. And with all of my readings, I've got one lovely lady who's psychic that I've got a reading with today. Yes, I haven't forgot you. I'm going to message you shortly. Now, both her and I are she's far out. I can't even say it. She's amazing. Anyway, I've got a reading with her today. Intuitively speaking, we're all linked in, both to each other in a tribe sense. Also, as feminines and masculines, we're all connected. Now, with the elephant totem, it's very family orientated. Now, a lot of you have been dealing, and look, I can't focus on one given twin. I'd need to give you a personal reading. Person, place, or thing. Now, nodes being in Cancer, this has been the whole year, moving into 2020. And I mentioned this last year, where a lot of unions would come between August and September. Now, I have tuned into 2020 and I'm seeing April. I need to tune into what major aspects are happening in April, and I mentioned that to giggle. With the elephant totem, in a way, the message that was coming through is, it's to do with children. It's also to do with the elderly and older people. There can be subject matters that you're directly dealing with in a belief system, and you're feeling quite blocked and you're looking at it going, okay, now go back to the frog totem. There are two ways to skin a cat, and that sounds terrible. I don't mean that literally. There's two ways of doing something. There's two ways of viewing it. There's two ways of an outcome. But if you can't see an outcome, you need to detach and trust your crown of what you're getting versus what you're seeing. Because the ego directly that is involved is distorting the vision you're sensing. Now, being that elephants are very family orientated, it could be karmics, it could be karmics' children, it could be your direct children, your tribe, because it's tribe mentality. But it is also the energy of elephants are very intuitive, okay? They're gentle, wise, they have strengths. They try to improve the relationships with people, places, and things, okay? And this is what you're trying to achieve. But at the same time, it holds feminine attributes. It's very feminine. It's family, past, future. One thing I did tune into further, and I was looking at children and karmic energies and how to balance those things, because there are things that I'm going through and energetically tuning into. And really trying to do the research in it for those of you who are going through that situation. The one thing that it doesn't write in the animal totem, but it did say they also, it's connected to the temperance card. It's also very connected to sorting drama and empath energy. But it doesn't have to be kin to be family. Elephants will connect to you if they feel you're part of their tribe. So I feel this is a subject matter that's coming up in a sense that both masculines and feminines are tuning into the reasons why they feel particular things, why they're sensing something. And again, with the frog totem, there's two ways this can be, but why are they receiving and why are you receiving an energy versus what you're seeing and sensing? I'm hoping you're following me here. Then I researched further. If elephants are very family orientated, because this can be karmic energies and, an egoistic experience or a healing process that people are going through in tribe consciousness, there could be conflict in families at the moment. And again, we did mention with the other readings that I've done that are the general for your astrology, and that does cover you through to 2020. So it's handy to go and have a look at that. Yes, it will change as the months continue on, but it's interesting because I do mention the Cancer Capricorn eclipse and what house it's going to fall in for you. So tune into that and this, and then think about the aspects of what's in your chart and what's coming up for you. Then I researched further. Do elephants reject kin? Because this can be areas where we're trying to mesh into different ways of being, because we're breaking down paradigms and we're trying to merge situations, people, places, and things. The Aquarian moon is giving us an opportunity to see whether that's doable. And we are moving into that from the 16th onwards. Really, we already will be sensing an aspect of that. So we're moving into our intuition with that frequency, but we're tuning into it and seeing whether, okay, Humpty Dumpty is broken. Can we put it back together in a new way of being, with it being a workable equation? So between now and the Virgo moon, you're going to be tuning into that and directly dealing with those conflict-related dynamics. Now, I did mention, yes, you can have contact, and we will be tuning into it through cards. But at the same time, they do reject their young. So this can be the karmic rejecting their young. This can be energies in general not merging, meshing. It could be the feminine, it could be the masculine, however it's going. It's a subject matter, okay? The other thing that was coming through was dragon totem. So those of you who have been seeing dragons, go and also research it even further, because it's very, very in-depth. It does cover the colors that come into it, because each dragon holds a particular symbol. Now, the message I got with this can also be if your counterpart is a Chinese horoscope dragon. I actually am a dragon. I'm a fire dragon. But they also have psychic abilities, as well as it's very supernatural, friends and family it covers, but they're very protective. So they're not negative, they're positive, but each one has a particular vibration. So if this is what you've been seeing, to get an additional message, go and research Dragon Totem, and it's going to give you further insight into it. When I do have time, I will be doing totem animals. I'll keep these here. These will be the ones I will tune into and go in depth into it. What's the other thing? Another thing that came through, interestingly enough, upon seeing dragons, and it was quite a few dragons, was imagine dragons feel the thunder. And again, I'm feeling as though we're sensing something. We're intuitively getting the download. And there's a lot of things coming through, really screaming, listen to your intuition now. If you've been seeing 222, again, it's saying, yes, you're ascending. Yes, you're moving. You're on the right path. Your intentions and what you have wanted to manifest at the higher frequency is coming. Some of you also have been waking up again at 3 a.m. And again, it has been a very, very busy space. Now, the 3 a.m. wake up, and we haven't even got to the bloody cards yet, but this is how many downloads I've had, but I just haven't been able to get to you. Each number for you will have a particular message. Again, 111, 222 has been coming up again, and zeros. And the zero is the Fool card. So the zero is when I tune into Twin Flame Collective, when I start getting prepared to actually do readings. What happens is, over those days leading up to the reading, on the live sessions, I tend to get a lot of downloads and visions. So I try and jot them down and come to you. And 9 times out of 10, I forget to. That's why I've done it. Now, with the zero, it's the Fool card. So it's that leap of faith, but there's infinite potentialities of how this can come about, which can feel very scary. A lot of you are also feeling like this energy of you're proceeding forward, but you're not sure quite what into. And we are ending 13-year cycles. And interestingly enough, when I'd written this list down, I did briefly, to get confirmation. It was really ironic because last night everyone went to bed. I did again wake up at 3 a.m. and on an automated list, I just pressed play to listen to videos, and Aluna Ash, big shout out, I love her work, she popped up and she did actually mention horses. And the horses I've been seeing everywhere. I mean, they're at the kids' school, they're around the corner. I mean, I've been seeing horses everywhere. But again, when you're detached and you're not in your crown and you're not in that dual energy of the 3D and the 5D, a lot of the feminines and masculines are needing time away. And that was the Leo energy, right? Where you needed some time away to actually do some meditation. Meditation can be the quiet. You don't have to physically be listening to chakra music, meditation music. It's having enough time for yourself in the silence, because that's what listening is to yourself. You need to listen to what's coming up, what the purge is, what the feel is. And those are the things that are really going to give you that intuition coming through. Now, dreams are coming through again as well, and they're trying to give you a message, but they're really ironic, distorted dreams. They're very unique dreams. Pay attention to that. You're also changing the way you're eating. Some of you are really not wanting to eat particular things and feeling very nauseous. It's almost like that hormonal change. Heat burning up in your kundalini, really with the transformation. And you find, again, I was seeing burn-off effect. I was seeing tribe mentality, kin. Now, the burn off, and we did mention this at the beginning of the month, burning off old karmic frequencies, I was seeing ashes, but I was seeing an ending of a cycle. Now, it's almost cremating something to clear that deck to move forward. Now, if you guys are feeling blocked, especially, okay, so I've been seeing bees, owls, and birds. Now, the owls, again, are about your intuition, your higher consciousness, your crown. The bees are connected to love. There's a lot of heart chakra. Bees are connected to love. They're almost, and a lot of it is with the horses as well. What you've got to realize is the lower frequency aspect of that is you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. Okay, so it can be very, yeah, a lot of different birds, a lot of bees, a lot of insects. Again, yes, the seasons are changing, so you do notice particular species being more dominant, but they take on a theme. It's almost if you did put on songs randomly, particular songs will come up. And it's always very interesting to look at new songs coming through at particular times that do take on that vibration of the collective of what's coming through. So all of us spiritually wanting to free ourselves from that lower frequency. A horse is a very unique creature. It's both strong, it's loyal, it's endurant. We did work with them over the years for employment and work assistance. It was like almost like having a man's best friend, like a dog. So it was that frequency, but they're also very free. Don't trap me. So I feel a lot of feminines and masculines are seeing the energies, be it you're in union or you're not, or you're in communication or you're not, and you're looking at that energy because it's collective energy of where do you need to free yourself. Beetles also are to do with your spirituality, and yes, I've been seeing them too. Now, it's also be resourceful. They're very resourceful. The dragonflies can change direction very quickly. Have been seeing dragonflies too. Now, we'll start getting into the reads. Definitely, I have been seeing a lot of energy bouncing out to do with tribe, kin, karmic partner, and karmic energy collectively. So I will try and tune into it as general as possible, because I do feel as though the energy that is surrounding that frequency is a person, place, or thing, not necessarily just a female karmic or a male karmic, okay? So we'll tune into that and we'll get into the energies overall. Feel free to shoot away and ask questions while I'm shuffling. For those of you, again, who are new, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm a psychic medium as well as a twin flame whom is in union, have been for 7 months. I've given up on union. He met someone else and brought me again. Union first happens with self. If he still has not made closure in himself, there may be an aspect in a mirroring sense where, you know, you will get to a point you won't need union. And it's really interesting. It's the most interesting frequency to ever get into, especially when you're in the beginning state of union. And when you do look at the actual stages, you know, I was mortified to read it. It was like, what do you mean? You mean, because a lot of you who have really done a lot of work, you're thinking, no, there's no union. The interesting place you're finding yourself in, and that's for those of you at the very end stage, is you reach a point of complete detachment, of nonchalant, of, you know, and sometimes you'll have days you'll be like, repulsed. Other days it'll be zero. Other days it will be complete compassion, understanding, and such heart chakra. So it's really interesting. We've gotten to heart chakra at the moment. So many of you will be reaching reunion very shortly because you've reached that heart chakra state. But the detachment is of the belief of what, you know, can it be? It's you will, because you're battling with your belief. You're battling with the reality of, is it even a potentiality? It is so. Look back. Your past is a perfect therapist, because when you're in that egoic experience, you pause, get grounded, and then you actually use the frog totem, okay? And you're like, okay, yes, there's 2 ways this can go. There's 2 ways there's 2 reasons this could be happening. But what is the one consistency? And that's that they do come back. But because you've evolved, the necessity for that to be different will be your benchmark. So it won't directly impact you because you've evolved and you've detached. But the detachment, you'll find any time in a twin flame journey, you've finally got on your bloody horse and you're moving and you're flying free, you get a phone call. Okay, why? Because you no expectation, complete detachment, complete processing done. Oh, you know, this and that happened, that's why it happened, and you're just at your wit's ends and you're detached for your sanity's sake. That's why energy comes in, and that's why it's coming in like that, is because, you know, for some of you, you're still in that process And for me, that's how it's always happened. So at that last stage for me, it was a lot of work. And again, if you look at the community tab, for those of you who have just jumped in, the community tab talks about the bowl, the Asian bowl, and the cracks that have gold in them. They're your wounds inside you. For your sanity's sake, you make peace with those wounds. They're always there, but nobody can ever break you again because you're already broken. But those breaks weren't just occurring from one given person. They were directly from childhood. They were directly from other people, places, and things. And then Twin Flame kind of brought that up even more so and was the catalyst to that. And what you do with that in the aftermath, which is the ashes, it's getting rid of them, working on them and making peace with them. So many of us do believe that we find our closure inside an apology. But even if somebody had apologized to me back then, I would have told them to go take a hike, because unless I gained closure inside that frequency, it would mean zero. Okay, so that's why the work, and it's very painful to do that on your own, but it's very liberating, because you do reach a point where you go, wow, I didn't even know that was humanly possible, that I could find closure, because you're moving through the 7 stages of healing through your various chakras of wherever that pain body experience was, and you're completely exhausted to the point you just detach. Okay, what is the frequency of the masculine currently? What is the frequency of the feminine currently? Thank you. Interesting. What is the masculine moving away from? What are they moving towards? So are we all good? What did I miss, Fem Coach? It'll be coming soon. We have talked about this. Oh, 2. Okay. Okay, the interesting thing is the energy for the masculine at the moment, their current frequency, is the world. Now, this is interesting because it's just before the Fool card, the leap of faith, okay? The world is tying up of loose ends, but it's also the balancing. It's looking at, again, I'm seeing frogs, and we've got the Lionsgate portal did come up, and I'll try and someone remind me at the end of the video because I want to get into the actual read. There's many cycles, and it's like reaching a point of complete balance, but at the same time, it's the stress that's coming up, and I'm going to pull clarifiers as we go to really elaborate on this. There's some stresses at the moment coming up in their general life. And again, this is a karmic hand, and it's related to family. It's really interesting that we had the elephant totem. We also, it can be tribe related. And again, needing to use, there's 2 ways to do this. There's 2 ways this outcome can go. But it can be family related. It's karmic, but it's in their whole world at the moment, it's quite stressful. It's reaching a pivotal point. They're trying to liberate themselves from this frequency. They're trying to raise their vibration. They're doing all they can. I do feel they're running on an oily rag, but they've got big dreams. So they're trying to rise above what other people need of them. So when it does come to tribe mentality, their crowning energy is that they're doing all they can to balance everything out, to finalize things, to do the things that they need to do, but it is karma related, okay? For the feminines, you guys have the Emperor. And this can be, again, about pregnancy, family. Again, a lot of nausea coming through for feminines. Masculines are experiencing it too in some shape or form. Rejection to certain food groups, people, places, things. Again, the purge is from the healing and detoxification of environments. Now, this is also to do with what you guys are manifesting, you know, what you're giving birth to. Be careful of your thought process. A lot of tribe mentality and Cancer frequencies coming through here. So it's the Cancer noise plus the Cancer eclipses. We're still having that frequency moving forward. So some of you were potentially hoping when it came to karmic endings, it was occurring in July. But again, the energy is over the next, with the eclipses, it takes 6 months to 12 months. So the energy is moving very quickly, but it's amping up. It has gone quiet, but I'm telling you, there is energies of karmic endings, and it doesn't even have to be there with the karmic. It's the frequency as such of what's occurring to block them. Feminines, you guys are attempting to make a plan. This can be in your own life, but it's also to do with how to handle certain things. But you're trying to refine your attention onto things that are more important and relevant to you. You're rewiring yourself to a more, how do I put it? You're fine-tuning your frequency. You're fine-tuning your attention onto things that serve you, not what don't. What you're moving away from, feminines, is indecision. Okay, just taking each day, really tuning into what's relevant. And again, notice the twos, and the frog has 2 ways of breathing. It's 2 ways to skin a cat. Okay, so with that energy, it is an Aries card. Okay, this could be a direct Aries, but I want to keep this very general. It's more to, and Aries is in Chiron at the moment, which is our wounds, trying to move away from things, people, places, and things that were confusing. So that's masculine. So you're moving forward and going, you can deal with the confusion. Even if you're in union, reunion, contact, when you're hearing problems, you need to detach from them, because they're not a you problem, they're a them thing. So if this is in your own life, you know, moving away from it and tying up those loose ends. If it's to do with counterpart, you need to reflect on what your truth is. It's really interesting when you see people's comments. Giggle, you are on the ball today. If that was you, no. You're reflecting on what your truth is. So you know what it is, you know what the deal is, but you're also understanding that that person has power too, and that's a them issue, and they need to deal with what they need to deal with. So, you know, if you need to hold the hand or intervene, or, you know, it's problematic. It's not allowing them to own their power. So you're reflecting on your truth. Perhaps potentially in the past you felt differently, but on this occasion, you know, you're feeling differently too. Now, when it comes to moving forward, feminines, you're going to be pretty damn direct. You know, you're like, I know what I want, and I want it now. But you're going to be very direct. And this is about, this to me is to do with, and you're wanting to move forward. You're like, look, if you're coming with me, come. If you're working with me, work with me. What do we need to do to get this show on the road? Okay. This can be directly just your vibration, or it can be directly the communication you're having with counterpart. Now, the masculines, what they're moving away from. Wow, this is big. Having to sacrifice for people, places, and things. And I really have said this through the journey. Every single human being will reach a point of no return, because when you're coming to a place where you're doing something for another person, if it is not in your higher good, you're going to reject it. Rejection is God's protection. Rejection is your protection. It's also Source's, universe's way of getting you back on the right path. So if certain things aren't working, masculines, it's because your body's rejecting it. Again, it can be a way of being. It can be totally giving to one and not the other. But is it giving to you? If it's not giving to you, it's not going to serve your purpose. You're moving away from it because you've evolved. You're no longer willing to you know, live in that environment with people, places, and things that don't serve you. And you're counting your blessings. You're like, I'm glad I'm out of there. So those of you who have moved away from a vibration, it doesn't mean to say they're out the door, but they've moved out through that vibration and they've got the download. So they're like, oh, I'm piecing out on this because it's not serving me. So they've already had the download. The movement towards is actually kicking habits. And this did come up, okay? Kicking habits, getting out of old ways of being, detoxing, food allergies can be coming up, food triggers, people, places, and things, but taking their power back. And this is a card where they're being brave. So they're moving forward fiercely. And again, there's two birds on the card. And again, another thing which is unique that I've been seeing. I have been seeing a lot of triangles. Now, the triangle down is feminine, the triangle up is masculine. I've been seeing a lot of upright triangles, and I do feel this is to do with the masculines actually owning their power, and there is an upright triangle on the card. And clocks. So, knowing their vulnerability, but doing it anyway and taking their power back, going, okay, I know I'm nervous, but staying back in this frequency is it's not doable. But they're proceeding forward regardless of fear. Guts over fear. Yep, investigating why that is and understanding why they've been operating. Okay, now in the past, 2 cards fell out. Wow. And I'm going to pull clarifiers on this. Now, this is in relation to a past tense relationship, but I also feel this is reflecting back on you. I also, with the other card, it's the energy of them feeling, why didn't they see it for what it really was? And it's on both sides of the fence, with the karmic energy, with a karmic partner, and with divine feminine. Okay, so it's like mass downloads, like looking back and a lot of reflection into what happened, what the process was in the journey, all of it. Okay, everything, a lot of downloads, a lot of deep reflection going on. Okay, in relation to the feminine, let's see. They want to live their life to the fullest, and they know they can have this with you. In relation to karmic frequencies, they're trying to correct things. They're trying not to repeat this pattern. They don't want to repeat that pattern. Currently, again, I mentioned they're really getting their psychic downloads. Okay, so where they are right now is they're really getting a better relationship with their intuition. Some of them might be going and listening to videos. And that was another thing that was coming out really heavily, is the investigation of numbers, signs, and synchronicities. And I do feel this is really where they're being led to. They're really investigating it. But overall, how they're feeling is they're feeling like too many things have been taken from them. And I'm feeling in general, this is really causing a great deal of pain. And they've been bloody patient. Now, when I say patient, if I had to come back, I would not want to be a masculine. I would not. And I do believe I was a masculine in the past life, I'm telling you. And I've said this to my girlfriend, Lauren. I said I was a terrible man in a past life. I do feel greatly they've lived in a very stagnant frequency, and it's due to past life karma, right? And their belief system of the 3D. The reason why they've dealt with this is because they were bound to this situation. They were afraid of their finances. They were afraid things were always going to get taken from them. So when you potentially came to them, they were like, but everything's been taken from me, so how can I trust that this is for me? How can I trust that this is going to stay and you won't hurt me? You have a potentiality to hurt me more. But there was so many dynamics going on that it was causing them great grief, even if their intent was to move forward. Now they're like, no more. I want to go for my dreams. Whatever these were in the past, whatever the commitments were, it's robbing them for 6. It's affecting them. I feel caution to the wind. I feel it's almost like, look, it's taken enough of my life. And I do use the analogy of a ruler. And with a ruler, when we look at our life, I had a very dear friend. His name's Shori, so I'm sure my ex's family still stalk my YouTube account, but I still love you, okay? And he gave this beautiful analogy, and I love him to the day I die for that. And he said, this is your life. Now, what are you doing right now that isn't serving you? If this is where you are on the ruler and that's all you got left, you know, are you going to waste that? And that's really, I feel, where both masculines and feminines are coming to. But this is coming through on the masculine side, like, wow, you know, I've been robbed, I've been stolen from, I've been cheated on. And yes, it doesn't mean they haven't done that to you, but this is what they're reflecting on in general. And they're reflecting moving forward to you and in general a happier dynamic in their life. And they're looking at it going, I was doing it because I was trying to keep my commitments, but I'm not a slave to my life. I want to actually have some hopes and dreams. And if I can't, it's just not worth it. Okay? Feminines. Very interesting what's coming through. Now, overall energy. So funny. The past. Present. You guys are being a bit too hard on yourselves. Now, you might be looking at things that just aren't working. Overall, the energy that you are thinking about is union. That's the first card. It's your counterpart. Or in general, a very high vibration romance. You're like, no ifs and buts about it. This is what you're tuning into. Again, your Kundalini is really activating this month. You're going to be getting a lot of psychic downloads. You can also be having connections to how it's impacting your life and what you want to do to change and balance that. The past energy was, look, there were so many delays. It was like, is this moving? How are we moving forward? What's going on? Why do we keep going backwards? We're going forwards, we're going backwards. The delays as such, what's the clarification for this? Some of you had to walk away and allow this to resolve. And I feel this is connected again to karmic frequency, needing to let Mother Nature take its course. So even if you're tuning into, gee, is it going to be like this forever? Some of the codependent patterning was allowing it to remain there. So the detachment is actually helping these old cycles die because it's naturally occurring at a lot faster ratio without you need to be stuck in that frequency. Let's put it that way. Presently, you guys might be feeling you're stuck. Okay, you might be feeling that you failed or you're never going to reach union, that you're sad. But again, it's trying to raise that frequency and understanding this is a very temporary energy. I can't believe how fast the time's flowing. Okay, make no judgments. Pause. If you're in that lower frequency, attempt to raise your frequency. Get your light up. Get back to your crown chakra, okay? Because at the moment, there's more transpiring, that there's more to come that you don't know yet. There's missing links and information. Okay, what's coming? Yeah, recuperation first, okay? Any descent, usually there's an ascension. Now, let's tune into the karmic energy of their intent to masculine, and this can be a person, place, or thing. And then intent towards feminine, and that can be in your own life or directly from masculine. Definitely did take a lot longer than I thought. And then I'll have to bring my lovely lady. And I've got a section in the middle here. Okay, so the karmic energy towards the masculine. Okay, this can be a person, place, or thing, remember. This is about frustration connected to cash component and investment. This is to do with finances. This is to do with, can be stingy frequency, intent. They can be doing things to the degree of trying to manipulate cash components. But again, holding their cards very close to their chest, but a little bit of manipulation going on. Definitely tuning into 4 energies. Is it buffering? I'll try and open the door. The smoke should have gone by now. Is it better? They knew something was changing. But at the same time, they don't want surprises. They don't like surprises. So something potentially they knew it was coming, but they were ignoring it, hoping it would go away. This can be at a financial level, but it's also a truth level. So they're undecided about what they're going to do at this stage. They also need to face, they might be their own worst enemy in a way that they're operating at the moment, but it might be that both parties aren't seeing eye to eye. In the past, they felt that this would go fine. They were like, they felt they knew this person better than you. It's still buffering. Any better? We're a Mercury shadow. Yeah, okay. I'll continue because I've got to wrap this up. They feel as though they've been backstabbed, okay? They feel like they can't win in this situation, but I do feel it's quite tactical. I feel as though they may energetically be feeling how they can do this. They also presently, they're changing their plans and their tactical response, okay? They're refusing to help. They're trying to create delays. They're attempting to pause this situation. I can't do anything about it. I can end. They don't love this, okay? They're not in love, but they're trying to control it. Okay, what are their intents? They're trying to block communication. Yeah, blocking communication, keeping things hidden. This could be hidden cash. It could be hidden ideas, hidden plans. Very detached in a sense of having no emotions. Very cold, okay? Now, towards feminine. They knew who you were, okay? The frequency of any karmic energy coming through knows that you have a good demeanor. But they're concerned about that, but they thought that you were slightly naive. They took your genuine nature for granted, but they also reflected back of that. And now they're saying that's false. They're saying that even though you energetically perhaps are gentle, understanding, and compassionate, you're also a bit of black moon Lilith. Let's put it that way. Presently, they feel that you're going to have a very happy life. They can be a little bit jealous of what you have. They also may feel that you're hiding things. There could be a celebration surrounding you that they may be scared of or envious of. Okay, 3 have fallen out, so I'm going to take those when it comes to this celebration. This can be in relation to love. It could be a celebration you're going to have, an engagement, a baby, whatever it be. They're a little bit envious of the masculine's connection to you. They also know you have a friendship, and they know that, you know, this is, you're healing and you're prospering. This is what you're moving towards, okay? But presently, they may, in general, regardless of you being with counterpart or not, feel that this is what you hold and what you have to offer. Presently, they don't quite know how to look at it, but there's a lot of regret that they wish they didn't operate in the same way to have the same outcome. They feel they may have been able to attain a similar outcome. Yeah, I'm feeling they're really meditating. Okay, they're trying to be very rational about this and make a good choice before proceeding forward. They feel really vulnerable. They feel they're being left out in the cold, but they also want to free themselves from even having to worry about what's happening. So they're going into hermit mode to tune into, you know, and it's ego. So they're using their ego in operation to try and balance and gain clarity. but they're very triggered at the moment. They're wondering what to do and how to change it, and I feel it's quite tactical. So stay tuned. I'll tune into where that any other energy comes through for that. Any questions? Yeah. I mean, I don't really care ultimately. I just found it was really interesting because I do feel potentially there's a change. Look, a lot of the old energies are coming up inside of masculines and feminines' lives. This can be a person, place, or thing where it's coming up. Again, it can be your own children being quite triggered at the moment and old cycles ending. It feels really interesting moving into the new frequency. But at the same time, in a frequency sense, connected to karmic frequency, I am feeling something's evolving there. It's hidden. But trust in the process. Trust in the process. Follow your intuition. Follow your gut. And be mindful and cautious. Okay? Mindful and cautious. Any questions while I'm preparing the last bit? No questions. You. Okay. You're in your crown feminines. Masculines are in their base chakra. And I was seeing this. And these were the two colors that came out with the incense sticks. Remember I mentioned the chakra? And I was feeling that the foundations and family-related dynamics was coming up. And you're getting the downloads, feminines, okay? So in a dual frequency, this is where you're at. Did I leave you silent? Are you all stunned? Yeah. Family in reverse is your crowning energy between feminine and masculine. Something isn't balanced there. What's going on in the heart space? Okay. Be cautious. I feel both of you. It's interesting because you've got throat chakra. I'm going to pull another. What are you wanting to tell us? You're waiting for more information through your third eye in order to operate, okay? So you're trying to operate correctly and you're being very disciplined with your heart because you're trying to be rational. It's hard. Don't do head heart, okay? You'll know the pure frequency. But I feel more, you'll know, both of you energetically are moving into your Trinity energy. And that's probably why I'm seeing the triangle, because this is a number 3 card. And with the Trinity, it's really balancing everything out. Universe, masculine, feminine, okay? Again, now the energy effect that both of you are moving through, again, is moving away from toxic energies, but trying to tame your emotions. Now, the foundation of the situation. Yeah, not seeing this progress, not seeing this change in certain areas and needing this to happen. And that was the basis of why all these changes are happening right now. Now, the one thing I did notice, and I do actually preach this quite a bit to all of us when we're triggered, and I use the analogy of the traffic lights. Now, when you're getting triggered or you're dealing with a 3D situation, this is the funky thing. And I was mentioning this to a client yesterday. I always say red means stop because you're triggered or there's a situation going on. It's like, wow, fire, okay, stop, red. Then you move to yellow. Yellow and amber, so to speak, is reflect. Reflect on what your download is, what you're feeling, and you should use this in meditation as well. Green, proceed. How are you going to react? High outlaw soul. Now, when you look at it, they are the colors of the chakras. And when we are having a retrograde or a trigger moment, we're operating from the lower chakras as well as the ego experience. So red is your base chakra. Yellow, orange is your power and the energy you're putting into something or not enough of. Meditate. Why? Green, go. that come from the heart. Do it purely. Put your energy, your passion, and your love into it and react, okay? And we're in heart chakra at the moment. So food for thought. Again, thank you for all of you who are returning. Also, a very warm welcome to those of you who are new. If you do want to subscribe, as I said, you can get all these updates. And they always end up being quite long when I haven't seen you guys for a while, but they end up being long anyway. But you do get to ask questions during the session, and hopefully it'll help you through your twin flame journey to reach union, because I do try and share my experiences of what I've been through and what the psychic downloads are, so that you guys can not feel batshit crazy, so that we don't have to feel alone in this journey. Most welcome, Michelle. Okay, now I do have to go because I've got a lovely client that I've got to talk to. And I will come back during the week to do another update. And it could be tonight for all I know. The energy may shift. So anytime, guys. Thank you very much for subscribing and sharing the videos. And please do comment under the videos, especially if you have an epiphany or something to that degree comes through and you listen to the video. I do read all of your comments and I do comment back. So do look after yourselves, and I'll see you really soon. But if you want to tune into what's coming, especially with the karmic frequency, into your own journey, book a reading and I can tune into it for you directly, psychically. It is exhausting. Heal and reach union. Trust me, that's how it does work. It sounds crazy, but it's true. Love and light.